Very nice. One of the cool looking Susans, black-eyed Susans. So I scattered seeds everywhere. Not too many took. And one of the few that did take on this side, you know, like, you know, there's a black-eyed Susan way over there that managed to take, you know, but really not a whole lot, you know, for all the seeds that I've spread. You know, there's a little guy. This one's actually doing pretty good, and it's a cool one. I only had like 1 or 2 flowers worth of seeds of that, you know, special variety. So it's nice that one will make it. I can spread those seeds. This is on the off chance that I catch something. Kind of hard to tell, but it's been rooted up around there. The bark's been pulled away. It's one of my plum trees. Same thing right here. Something's dug around. Something's dug around. These diggings right here, and same with that one up there. There's another tree. These diggings right here are all from this year, or not from this year, from this week. You know, when I was out here last weekend, put everything back. You know, it actually knocked over this one. I believe that's why these rocks are on top. Oh, whoops. It knocked over this one and started rooting up the tree itself. Oh, a little baby deer. I probably didn't catch it. He was just chilling up over there. Kind of like Bambi's new little brother. Bambi's mom must have dropped off its kids over here. This is Bambi's mom's daycare. It looks like this little wood thicket, you know. She drops off her babies. Bambi's mom's been munching on some things. Nothing too bad though. But this is an issue though. You know, since last weekend, it's already rooted up around these trees again, you know. At first it rooted up one of my new fig trees I planted over here. And I was like, wow, that bastard, you know. That was about it. Pretty minimal, you know. The thing was just kind of doing a generalized rooting everywhere. So, oh, what do we got right here? Goodnesses. See, like, oh, these are normal. I don't got too many of those ones. But it's like, over here, I spent the spring. So last fall I planted these apples. That's a pear. You know, and then this spring I planted the figs here and those plums over there. But for the last few weeks, it's been targeting these, because this spring I planted all these lilies and flowers through here, and it seems to just get like most of its nutrition from my lilies. So every night it comes out and it digs up around these trees and it knocks these things over. And like I came out here, this is Friday, you know, luckily I came out in time to spare this tree, because this tree had been rooted up, you know, completely uprooted. Would have died, you know, within a few days probably. But it's knocked over, I think that one, no, it's knocked over that one as well and rooted up that one, you know, and it keeps digging around these. I've already gone over this area and re-kicked all the dirt back up, and I still do have a few lilies and other things planted in here, but it's eaten just about everything else. It doesn't like these things. I can't remember what these things are. You know, it's been leaving these alone. It's rooted up a few, just I guess taste them, you know, like right in this area, you know, it's eating them, but it doesn't really care for them. You know, so I still got those right here. You kind of see right here. It's just, you know, it's a bad thing, you know. I've done different things here, you know, and the last things I did here were beans, and it rooted up the last bean that I had. So I don't got my perennial scarlet beans, you know. That's a rough one, you know, because now I have no perennial beans, you know. Like if I can't buy more beans from the store, I just won't have perennial beans anymore, you know. Like the normal beans that I stock are annuals, you know, bush style beans. This was a legit perennial. climbing bean, vining bean. But it's gone from being, you know, a slight nuisance to being a nuisance to now it's just a nightmare, you know, where if I don't come out here every weekend, it's gonna end up killing these trees, you know, like if I were to not come out for. So I got a lot of them right here. But again, the normal ones, you know, this is a particular path has done well. I got one other cool looking one. And then another cool looking one. And these are like my only cool looking ones to gather seeds from, you know. So last weekend I did a half-hearted attempt with this trap set up over here. So this is another one of the nuisance things. This had tadpoles in it. So, and it pretty much stays wet. This is bedrock right here, and it kind of catches. This is, I guess, a low point in the bedrock. So water, just under subterranean water that's under the ground, kind of makes its way down here, you know, and it does dry out slowly. But I would, like I carry a gallon of water in the terrain. I wash my hands right here with fresh water, you know, just to keep refilling it, you know, for those tadpoles. And this armadillo started coming down here. When it took to eating all of my lilies, it also took to coming down here and bathing, you know, so you kind of see its little mud trail going right there, mud trail going right there, mud trail going right there, mud trail going around that plant and then going up. And you know, you could, it looks like it's worn down, but you can kind of see, you know, you'd see its mud trails going up towards my trees, you know. It would come from over here, you know, there's like a clearing where that turkey was making its nest. It's coming from somewhere in that general direction. You know, you follow these mud trails back that way 60 feet, 50, 60 feet, you know, before all the mud gets scraped off the armadillo. And it's heading in the general direction of that clearing, you know, where the turkey makes its nest. So I tried it over there, you know, where these mud tracks were going into the trees, you know, last weekend. No luck, you know. I was just using, I had some, you take like honey roasted peanuts and you chew on them for a little bit and it turns into peanut butter. You know, it's kind of how I catch my mice, you know. I don't really carry peanut butter around because it's like, I don't want to be like, you know, putting peanut butter on a trap. It's kind of like, you really don't want to, you have to wash that spoon, you know, or something, and I don't do that, you know, so it's kind of, peanut butter for me is a hassle. But I'll chew up a peanut and turn it into peanut butter, you know, and use that on my mouse traps. So that's what I did over here, you know, but over there. This time, and I do like 2 18 packs of hard-boiled eggs. I don't know, every 2 weeks or so, I'll hard-boil some. And these ones I didn't hard-boil long enough. These are the last 6. This is Friday. So I got 3 for Friday, and then 3 for Saturday, and then Sunday I would make more, you know, so it's, now I'm going to make more this Sunday as well, you know, another 36 2 18 packs, hard-boiled some eggs, cook them longer. But I'm using these hard-boiled eggs, you know, these are the last 6 of my 36, and they were kind of not fully hard-boiled. These ended up being pretty close to hard-boiled completely, but most of them throughout the week were just nasty, like half hard-boiled, you know. So I'm using those as bait though. That's 3 that I've broken into half, you know, and I may end up catching a possum or a raccoon or something tonight. And if I do, this is Friday night, if I do, you know, I'll just release it down by the lake. So hopefully, because the lake is like a mile away, hopefully that'll be outside of its normal range. You know, I don't think a raccoon is going to travel a mile to find its home range again, you know. So there may be a disrupted raccoon family or a disrupted opossum family around here, you know, if I catch an opossum or a raccoon. But this is the armadillos doing, you know, this track, these mud lines are from armadillos because they just kind of drag themselves along on the ground. So they smear the mud everywhere, you know. That's how you know it's an armadillo. And because it's rooting through the things, you know, that roots through the soil, kind of like a pig does, looking for worms, or in this case, looking for my lily bulbs, my flower bulbs, and eating those. But so the intent is to catch an armadillo. If I do catch an armadillo, I may release it far away, maybe on one of those islands, or I may just dispatch it, you know, take the pellet gun right to its eye, you know, and get rid of it, because this thing is just a nightmare, you know, this armadillo. It's doing what it needs to do. You know what armadillos do, it's programmed to do, but it's not conducive with, you know, homesteading, you know. So I really don't want this thing around because it has a taste for lilies. And there are daylilies that grow naturally around here. Daffodils that grow naturally around here, but apparently this thing just likes my lilies, you know. And it's sad that I lose my flowers, you know, like spending so many months planting flowers, but like these trees, these fruit trees, I actually do need. You know, I can't lose those. I need these fruit trees, you know. So I mean, I may release it, or I may dispatch it. You know, I'll release whatever else I catch, but if it's the I don't like armadillos because you can't eat them. You know, they serve no real purpose other than loosening up the soil. You know, and like it rooted up a fire ant hill, which I think it probably regretted. You know, like those fire ants are insane. But if I do catch it, you know, that's what this is for. This is my armadillo catch and probably transfer, release. You know, ship it to someplace. Maybe Leah would like an armadillo. You never know. Might make a good pet. Or also maybe dispatch it. You know, that's kind of, this is the setup and the backstory to it. Saturday. Now look, Friday night. I'm not even sure if it came around. It may not have come around. So I used my last 3 eggs. This is like a little bit of yolk. Last 3 eggs that I brought. Refreshed them and scattered some, kind of going in, kind of right out to the out fringes. So hopefully it'll smell them in an area that's comfortable. Munch on it and be like, ooh, I like this, and smell it out even more. Smell it even more, and it's kind of like the breadcrumbs. And then here's the score. Such a big pile. They have bad eyesight. Such a big pile. Maybe it can see it, you know, or it just has to smell it and then get it. See if we can get her. So I got these apricots, stone fruits, and I got this. It's a vice. This is morning, Sunday morning. It's the earliness. It's like 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna have those 3, but I still got these. You know, I still got this one. You can tell a good apricot, a sweeter apricot, because it's softer. This one's the most firm. So Sunday morning, I didn't get a armadillo, but I did get a raccoon. It's kind of the general plan is put these in there. I like the vise because it's slow and controlled, so it doesn't crack. You know, and then you can just back it off, you know. And it doesn't break the seed inside of the shell. And then I'm just going to put them in some wet paper towel. And, oh, this is a good application for cinnamon. You know, sprinkle the paper towel with cinnamon. Because the cinnamon wasn't much of a rooting hormone. But it did work well for, some coffee. Some water for some coffee. Did work well for keeping the fungus down. So I gotta say, it's a good antimicrobial. Oh, and I'm gonna put those seeds you know, cinnamon sprinkled wet paper towel in a Ziploc in a fridge in town and cold stratify them for probably the rest of summer, you know, and then, you know, I'd rather do it some other time later in the season, but they'll stop selling like apricots at stores, you know, when they go out of season. So kind of got to do it now. Just hope. Hey, Mr. Raccoon. So this is what I caught. I had plenty of eggs. You're like a little teenager. It's the bright sun. So I would like, hey, that tastes kind of good. What is that? He's not too happy, but he does like the taste of them. So I need to make my coffees. This could take a while. Let's get something to kind of block this. Oh, so he's got a little shade now, so he's not in the sun. So he's a juvenile. Pretty small. I don't think he's breeding, so he doesn't got a family to lose, you know. So I'm not too concerned. Got some children wondering where their mommy is. Otherwise, I guess you could look for some swollen nipples. Like they've been suckling or something. Okay, that looks good. Let's see if we eat some of that fruit. Yeah, I'm gonna go make some coffee. Looks like he didn't eat any of it. That's what I was putting in my chewed up peanuts. He did have 6 eggs last night. Okay, guy, I'm gonna let you go. I got the coffee started. He's being pretty relaxed, which is alright, you know. I guess they would heart, you know, kind of like hunch their backs and hiss a lot if they were mad. He's laying down. It's all right. Generally in that area. He was laying pretty low. He wasn't hissing at all. Probably because he was young and hadn't really developed fear. Or maybe he's just growing up around me. Like, sees me around. I'd be like working on the roof, growing tomatoes, and it would just kind of walk right past the house, you know, paying no attention to me, running my saws and all that, you know, impact drill, making all that noise, just kind of walking casual in daylight. They grab a tomato or two, which wasn't the thing. This is the thing though. Something ate a rabbit last night. That's kind of cool. Well, not really. So this is kind of like farming, you know, have heart traps, you know. You catch the animal and then you keep it alive until you need it. Then when you need it, you butcher it, you know, like raccoons are a real good source of fat, you know, so, you know, my stocked oil will start going rancid after 2 years. I don't really mind it, I'll just season it, you know, stretch it for maybe 3 years, you know, before it gets a little too nasty to eat. Then I'll be harvesting raccoons. Raccoons would be my source of fat, you know, red meat and fat. They got glands that are oftentimes in the fat that look kind of like fat. Scent glands, which make it tricky, you know. It's going to be a lot of maybe do some small batches of fat harvesting off of raccoons. So if I get a gland in the batch, you know, like a quarter of the fat off of raccoon, melt it down, you know, and, you know, render it down and smell it, you know, see if it smells like raccoon or not. If you catch one of those glands, it's going to smell like a raccoon, you know. But, you know, set trap for, I got smaller traps too, you know, set trap for a rabbit. You know, rabbits are surrounded by food, so they're a little harder to trap, you know, but they like to eat my things, you know, so give them some lettuce leaves or something, you know, something non-wild leaves, you know. Probably the easiest way to catch a rabbit though is with a snare. I do have some hanging wire. Oh look, coffee's almost done. Yeah, so I mean it's Sunday. It's gonna be a week, maybe 2 weeks before I come back out. You know, it doesn't have a family. It looks like, you know, it's a teenager. So it wasn't gonna be. I wouldn't be orphaning any children if I ran it, you know, over to the lake and let it go over there. But it's kind of like there's no point since it's gonna be a week or two. You know, if this is Saturday, you know, like Friday night, you know, if I caught it Friday night, I'd still want to catch an armadillo Saturday night. But now it's gonna be a couple weeks, so no point. And it's like it'll be a couple hours before I'm ready to take off, you know, to release it far away. So I just figured I'd release it there. Well, this is the first attempt.